Hello, welcome to The Sidelines, Uganda's leading online current affairs show. My name is Simon Muyanga Lutaya, your host. And my guest tonight is Mr. Yasin Abdulaziz Musoke, Uganda's liaison officer at the Ugandan embassy in Saudi Arabia. I think the city is Riyadh.
That's
welcome,
right, yes.
Yasin.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure having you here.
Yes.
You've been at the embassy for how long?
It's now a year, but I've been serving for the last 18 years, actually. I've served, I think, more than 6 or 5 ambassadors, yeah, from the time of Ambassador Katerega. The
ambassadors change and
That's
you don't
right.
change.
Yeah.
What's the magic?
Before joining government, actually, I've been in the Middle East, I've been in aviation, fluid power and transmission, yeah.
Just take me through your job. What do you exactly do? Ugandan liaison officer. What's involved? What's the nature of the work?
It's to do with labor. Since we signed bilaterals with Saudi Arabia and Jordan, we felt, or government felt, that there was a need to either have a labor attaché at the embassy or to start with a labor liaison to handle all labor matters and coordinate labor matters. That involves vetting recruitment agencies in those areas, also vetting job orders or demands of migrant workers who are traveling to Saudi Arabia, exchanging information and also building systems and also supporting on all concepts to support the success of safe and productive labor externalization of Ugandans. Okay,
Mr. Yasin Abdulaziz Musoke is the man at the center of recruitment of Ugandan migrants who work in the Middle East. Is the man in between there, connecting, I think, companies, recruitment companies on the other side with recruitment companies this side. I just want to know, how did you, a Ugandan of your repute, agree to endorse modern-day slavery and allow our young men and women to leave their country to come to Saudi to work as slaves?
Well, that's a very interesting question because at the beginning, actually, I was very negative about this because at that time I was doing my aviation business and fluid power, and we were working with the Eagle Airlines. We are leasing planes actually to Saudi Airlines and NAS Air, and we had a compound, we had the vehicles and facilities where we used to keep our air hostess or the aviation crew. So at that particular time, it was not Hajj, so we didn't have traffic of flights. So the compounds were not too busy, and that's the time when Ugandans came in and they had a lot of problems. They had nowhere to go. And where my operations were at Jeddah, which is 1,000 kilometers away from Riyadh, where our embassy is. So I used to help these Ugandans to pick them who had problems and keep them at our compound, help them with medication, feeding them, shelter, and also sometimes buying them tickets to come back to Uganda. I was really totally against about this at the beginning, but when I came back to Uganda, I met one of the recruitment agencies who took me through the process they go through.
The first group of Ugandans you found on the streets of Saudi Arabia, yes, the ones you claim to have been rehabilitating,
exactly,
were legal migrants there or illegal?
No, they were legal, but after Uganda signing bilateral agreements with Saudi Arabia, we were not prepared. We didn't know what we had to do at the embassy. Maybe Ministry of Gender also. Maybe there were certain arrangements which were not.
But the question is, why in the first place did we sign labor bilateral agreements to export labor to the Middle East? It's exactly what I'm asking. Why do we take young men from Uganda at their most useful age to Saudi Arabia to work for another country?
Well, maybe if I've started by being negative about it, and then I became positive later. Maybe if I take you there, then the picture will be clear. So among those 90% of those girls I helped to come back to Uganda, 90% of them were calling me back after a month or two, and they wanted to come back again to Saudi Arabia, and some of them even at the same place where they were working. Yet they had told me, we have gone through all these challenges. And at that time, really, I was not even investigating the other time. But I did not even have the mandate to do so. So when a Ugandan came in with a problem for me, I was touched. And I was like the way you've stated it.
So you're helping as an individual?
As an individual, yes.
Rehabilitate them,
yes.
help them come back to Uganda.
Yes, yes.
And then 1 month after they call you back, they want to come back?
After a month or two, I want to come back, you know, the situation here and all that.
Coming back the very place where they were tortured?
Yes. They were saying, really, what is really happening here? So I was upset, but I had a case of one of the girl who was calling me to come back again to Saudi Arabia. I say, you girl, you disturbed me, I helped you, you went back to Uganda, you said ABC, now you want to come back to Saudi Arabia. So really don't call me again. Just focus, do something to within Uganda. So after some time she called me again and told me, Mr. Yasin, sorry I cannot travel anymore, but if you have some money, just help me. I caught AIDS. Yes. So it touched me, and up to today. Are there
restrictions that when you have HIV, you don't?
Yeah, you cannot travel. You cannot travel. So I felt that I did not help, and at the end, I discovered that most of the girls I returned, really, maybe I did not help them. I thought that I'm helping them, but maybe I would have counseled them, maybe would have investigated the situation. Some of them were not in bad situation.
You did little on resettlement, the resettlement counseling, that when you brought them back here, you simply...
Yes. I just returned them, and I did not do any sort of counseling. I did not go in details. But at that time, I started to be interested in the industry. Then when I investigated, I found that many Ugandans, although we had those ones, but we had very many who were okay. They were paying school fees for their kids. They were building houses, buying land. And I discovered some companies who were not even keeping them at the employer's residence, but they are keeping them in their companies, taking them to work and bringing them. So that was, which percentages?
Yasin,
yes, please.
Would I be wrong if I summed up all the problems you have mentioned and concluded that that is slavery? That somebody is employed, no salary. Somebody is employed, cannot get enough food. Somebody is given too big a load beyond what he can manage. That somebody is even sold. That somebody who came to work for Muyanga Rutaya is sold to Yasin after Muyanga Rutaya has used this person for a time. What else would you?
It is true. Those are violations. And we do admit that those are violations.
Good.
But what does the Saudi government do about that?
That's what I want to know. What does the law, the other side, say about these violations?
Yes.
If you indeed know
yes.
that they exist.
Yes. All of those who are really violating in Saudi Arabia, if it is reported to Saudi government, to the Ministry of Labor in Saudi Arabia, and a migrant worker or a foreign worker is not paid, really, he will be taken to court and he must pay. If it is found that he has not been feeding, all of these are even in the contracts, the bilaterals which have been signed between Uganda and the government of Saudi Arabia. But as you may know, laws are there, regulations are there, but some people do violate.
The prison also exists for that purpose.
But the prison do exist. Okay, I would like to tell you that Saudi government has labor courts in different parts of Saudi Arabia. It's a very big country. You talk of thousands and thousands of kilometers. You have Riyadh, Jeddah, Taif, Hail, Abha, Dammam. In all of these areas, they have labor courts to expedite the processing of these
labor disputes.
The labor dispute. Actually, they are called labor dispute and settlement centers. They even provide even shelter. They know that if this decent girl from Uganda or from Kenya, she has a problem with the employer, where is she going to stay? Okay, they have put their shelters for these girls. So if she goes there and reports a case, they will keep her there, call the employer. If it does not turn up, then they will switch off all his transactions. Okay, he cannot transact. Even his ATM card will not work in the bank. They will stop him even from traveling outside his business. Everything there is electronic. He cannot make an exit for his employees. He cannot clear a container for his goods. So that's how far Saudi government has gone. They have put a lot of measures.
Those sound stringent measures.
Yes. They have put a lot of measures really to protect the rights of the migrant workers who come in Saudi Arabia. Even they have put their systems like the Musanad system. As of today, no Ugandan goes to Saudi Arabia without having that electronic employment contract. It's electronic, and it is signed by 4 parties: the Ugandan migrant worker, the employer in Saudi Arabia, the Ugandan recruitment agency, and the Saudi recruitment agency. And it is monitored by both governments. Okay, the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development have access in Uganda, has access on that database, and they don't clear. It's only the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development which clears these girls to go outside and work. Saudi embassy cannot give work visas to Ugandans who have not been cleared by Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development.
So where do these authorities disappear when the girls get problems? If they
Now,
endorsed.
As I told you, my brother, that those problems, after all that someone is supposed to get salary, she's supposed to get a place, maybe the employer, the other side, will violate. So what we need is, how does this girl get legal assistance to be able to log in her case or her complaint? And that's one of the job which is given to the Ugandan embassy in Saudi Arabia. That's what we are doing. Now, to ensure that we are sending a good employer and a good company here, we vet all recruitment agencies who come to take girls from Uganda. Nobody is coming here when it's not known. We know their location. Even you
as the embassy.
We as the embassy, we travel.
Vet them.
We vet physically. We don't just sit at the embassy and enjoy the aircon. We visit all these companies and we have their locations and we see their facilities. We know the people we talk to.
And so you confirm that they're the legal licensed
recruitment agencies
in Saudi Arabia.
Exactly. And we give them an accreditation code, a unique code. The problem is that we are only looking at the migrant worker, the domestic worker only. But we have 6 stakeholders in this industry. We have the migrant worker, we have the Saudi employer, we have the Saudi recruitment agency, the Ugandan recruitment agency, Saudi government, and the Ugandan government. These 6 are all stakeholders in this industry. And each one of these really is looking for a certain value in this. The Saudi employer is looking for 2 things: his domestic work to be well done, and also the service to be for 24 months. Now, this is where the problem comes from, because the Saudi employer pays around 11 million, which is around 11,000 Saudi riyals, for just processing the migrant work to travel to Saudi Arabia. He's the one who pays for the passport, pays for the training, pays for medical, pays for the ticket, pays the Ugandan recruitment.
The employer at the other side.
Yes, pays the Ugandan recruitment agency, pays the Saudi recruitment agency. Now he expects to enjoy this service for 24 months.
Which is 2 years.
And that's why the contracts are
2 years.
2 years. That's not the salary of the migrant worker, but that is the processing fee. That's the processing fee.
And recruitment companies are not charging these girls
actually,
it appears like everything is
legally, they are not supposed to charge these girls, and Saudi government does not allow that, and it is in the bilateral agreements. Okay,
that the employer, the other side,
the other side has paid for all,
clears everything.
Yes. Okay, everything is paid for the other end. Now, this is where the problem.
You need to find out what your people are doing.
Yes. Now, this is where the problem comes from. Now, we've heard that the employers, the other side, have challenges, and we have registered those challenges. We've gone to causes of those challenges, but also our people, our migrant workers, okay, they also have problems. Problem number one is
Listen, before the problem, we are at the value. We are looking at the value of each of the 6 stakeholders
exactly
that you have talked about.
Yes, we say that
the domestic, the employer, the other side,
yes,
wants his work done.
Okay.
And he also wants value for his money because he has paid a lot in processing fees.
That is right. So she should work for
24 months.
24 months, which is 2 years. Then we have the Ugandan migrant worker. She's looking for her salary. She must be paid, but also her welfare should be well taken.
Before I get a salary,
yes,
I'm working in good conditions.
Exactly.
Good.
These conditions, what are they? Number one, she's supposed to get a decent place to sleep.
Good.
Okay. Number two, she's supposed to get 3 healthy and enough meals. 3 healthy and enough meals.
From the employer.
From the employer. She's not supposed to really clean or do more than 7 rooms a day. She's not supposed to serve more than 7 people in a family, household. In a single house. And she's supposed to work for only this family which recruited her, not for the extended.
Be sold to another.
Now, we have also that problem. Some of them brings this maid to work for him, but also takes to the sister, takes to the brother. That's a violation. But also, she's supposed to get 9 resting hours, undisturbed resting hours. All of these are in the contract. She must be respected.
Say that again.
She's supposed.
Are all these in the contract?
They are in the contract. They are in the bilateral agreement. They are in the MOU. Okay?
Yasin.
Yes.
Do these girls get to know all these conditions before they leave Uganda to Saudi Arabia?
One of the conditions which the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development has put there, that no migrant domestic worker should travel abroad without going through orientation and training. Mm-hmm. So we have 16 training centers in Uganda which are accredited by Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. They take them through the purpose of their going abroad to work. They take them through goal setting and financial literacy so that they know, why am I going? And that brings me to one of the challenge of our people, that one of the biggest problem with the Ugandan migrant worker is early contract termination. Okay, some of them, not because the other part has not paid her salary or given her food or place to, no, she feels that I've worked for 3 months,
yes,
and I have 2,700,000.
Is enough capital
I've
for me?
been selling tomatoes. My capital has been 200, so I now have 2,700,000. Why should I stay?
I should travel back to Uganda and continue with my business.
Now she finds herself caught up with the contract that you are supposed to work for 24 months. Yet she wants, yes, she wants to come back. In the contract, there is a clause for termination. My brother, Mr. Simon, these girls are not slaves. This is an employment contract, and there is a termination clause, that is clause Article 16, subsection 2, which states that she can terminate at any time. But in order to terminate, she's supposed to pay the employer 3 months salary in lieu. Okay? 3 months salary, and buy yourself a ticket to come back to Uganda. Now remember that the employer has paid 11 million, but you are only paying 2,700,000 if your salary is 900. That means that the employer is still
making losses.
But both government agreed on this in order to prevent these girls to take it easily that whenever I want to go back to Uganda, I can just go back, and the other party are losers because...
So they leave knowing that the contracts are 24 months.
Exactly.
And sign contracts to that effect.
Exactly.
Great.
Okay, so that's one, but some people will call you and say, is that not human trafficking, or I don't know what they call it, forced labor?
Why must I be forced to remain at a workplace when I feel I should leave?
Exactly. But this is a contract you went into. These are mature people. Actually, sometimes we call them girls, but these are mothers, these are ladies, these are mature people. They take people who are above 21 years old, okay? They sign a contract, their next of kin goes into this arrangement. Now, you are only supposed to pay that if you want to terminate when the other party has no violation. But if the other side is not paying you salary, they are not giving you food, they are making you work in different, then you have a right to terminate, and they are supposed to pay you, to buy for you a ticket even to come back to Uganda. But this termination, if everything is okay, but you want to come back to Uganda. But what I was trying to tell you, what's very important, is that we've looked at the violations from the employer, but what about the violation from Ugandans? Number one, we have a problem with early employment termination, either because of they feel that they settle in for little. This contract is supposed to get 20 million Ugandan shillings, but some of them have never touched even 100,000 or 200. So when she gets 1 million or 2 million, she feels that I have enough, I must go back. Some of them, she's missing her boyfriend, okay, or the husband, exactly. Some of them, she's missing this natural air condition. Okay, it is hot there, she's not used to that, so homesickness and all that. But all that, the other party is also losing. We also have a second problem of false accusation. Our girls read some of the, even at the embassy, they come and tell you a story. When you investigate, you find that this story has been false. I'm not saying, and on air, I'm not saying that these violations are not there. Some of the violations are there, and really, the violator will be penalized. The court of, will be penalized. The court of law will take action, and really Saudi government is, actually it is a system where you cannot bribe someone.
But Yasin,
yes,
who on earth would employ someone and deny them food? Would you allow your daughter to do that?
Now, those are some of the causes of the problems we discovered, but I wanted to show you some of also the violations from the Ugandans, because the public always hears Ogwakawala, they don't hear Ogwakalenzi also. So early contract termination, and that's why some of our sisters really, they forge videos, they forge audios, they create stories. Many of these stories really
they're trying to find a way
of really exiting the contract. So false accusation. Number two, the problem of not being trained or having the skills to do the homework. Some of these girls don't even know how to mop. They've not been well trained. Maybe she has been in the city, you know, you call them slay queens and all that. So she goes there and she finds that, oh, I have to mop the house, I have to wash, I have to iron, and it becomes challenging to her. So they are not trained or equipped to do the job right. That's why some of the training centers or the recruitment companies are not doing good to these girls by taking them there without preparing them well. Then we have a problem of exaggerating sickness. You see, some of our cultures here in Uganda, when you have flu, you have some cold, everybody comes and say, oh, Yasin is sick, Simon is sick, the whole village comes.
For example, so, flu is one of my biggest problems. When I get it, I am
so down. You expect that when you go to Saudi Arabia, people should sympathize with you, they should leave you to see it, and okay, when you are sick, according to the law, it is your right to go to the hospital, get medication, and then the hospital gives you resting time. After that resting time, you go back to work. Now, some of my sisters, they feel nina omugongo, nina ekiwato, nina enyindo ennuma, and all that. She feels that because of that, she's entitled to travel back to Uganda.
Great. We'll start from there. Let's have a short break.
Yes.
Mr. Yasin Abdulaziz Musoke, the liaison officer at the Ugandan Embassy in Riyadh, giving us information about what happens with this industry that has become one of the most talked about industries of recent, the labor externalization, or like migrant workers export to Saudi Arabia or the Middle East, where there are a lot of challenges, a lot of negativity that we hear. Mr. Yasin lives the other side, and Uganda's at that side. And I think he gives us good information about what exactly happens the other side. Let's have a short break. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Exotic Hair Salon, where we offer you the exotic touch on all hair, beauty and nail services at very affordable prices. We are committed to giving you a maiden look that will last for many years to come. Do not be left out. Come and be part of the exotic experience. Visit our branches in Kamocha opposite Parkyard and Tinda at Haruna Shopping Mall Fast Flow. Please call 0704 695 341, 0702 878 522 or 0776 878 522. Exotic Hair Salon. Take yours off with our professional touch.
Hotel Africana. Come as a guest and leave as a friend.
This is The Sidelines, Uganda's leading online current affairs show. You can follow us on our online platforms, Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at Muyanga Lutaya, Facebook at SML News Uganda, and on our website, www.smlnewsuganda.com. Welcome back. I'm right here with Mr. Yasin Abdulaziz Musoke, the liaison officer at the Ugandan Embassy in Riyadh. We're talking about labor externalization. What really is wrong the other side of our brothers? You live in Saudi Arabia. The story in Uganda is that many of our brothers and sisters are going through horrible things the other side. Are there no labor laws in Saudi Arabia regulating the industry? Is it a free industry where everybody is free to do what they want? What is wrong? Why these stories?
Few of these stories are true, and many of these stories are really false. I'll tell you that, frankly. Because as I was telling you that we had a study which had 3 steps. Number 1, to identify the actual challenges, the other side, or problems, okay? Then 2, the causes of these problems, if they are there. Then 3, what could be the solution? That's what the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development had to go through before deciding to lift the ban. So among the actual problems which are there are these stories like kidneys are taken out, girls are pushed off the flats, they are thrown in the desert.
In fact, I am told that the trafficking in human parts is booming.
In Saudi Arabia?
In the Middle East.
I totally don't agree with that, because my time, all the time I've spent at the embassy, we have not recorded any case of a Ugandan whose kidney has been taken out. As you may know, that nobody is repatriated back home when it is not cleared by Uganda embassy in Riyadh from Saudi Arabia or Oman or Jordan. But specifically right now, I'm talking about Saudi Arabia, okay? So But I would like to ask, how many bodies are we receiving at our airport here coming from Saudi Arabia? How many Ugandans do you know, or does the public know personally, apart from what we hear from social media? You know them personally, that so-and-so's daughter's kidney was taken out in Saudi Arabia. So-and-so's daughter was killed in Saudi Arabia and thrown in the desert. Personally, not what we hear from social media.
I do not know any,
yes.
but I have heard, and I've received the social clips on my WhatsApp.
Yes.
Maybe Facebook,
now,
we see these clips.
My brother, that's the biggest problem, really. It's too challenging to me to see that we developed people in Uganda up to today, we are really using information which is not authenticated. We have a mission in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, but how many of you, the journalists, some of the politicians, the public, through Ministry of Foreign Affairs, that you are contacting the embassy to investigate that information which is heard or listened to in social media, my brother? So in our investigations, the genuine challenges we discovered there were salaries. Some of our people were not paid their salaries in time. We had a problem of food, that some of our girls, you even see them that she has not been getting food, sleeping facilities. Some of the houses are too big. They serve very many people in the houses. They don't get resting time. There are some cases of physical abuse. There are cases of sexual harassment. We also have a problem of transferring employment, which is called selling. You hear that this girl came to work for so-and-so, and this person has sold this girl to another person at 20,000 riyals or something of that kind. So those are the problems on the Saudi side.
Who meets the cost of monitoring, and who does the monitoring?
It's Uganda Embassy. We, the Labor Liaison Department in the embassy.
You do monitoring?
Yes, we do.
Find out how our girls or even boys are living at the places of their deployment.
Yes.
You do that?
Yes, we do that.
And you file reports to who?
We file reports on the system. We have an online system where it is automatically updated.
But we have had very many clips here doing rounds where they're saying, I'm in Saudi Arabia, helpless, no food, no water. I have called the embassy, nobody can help me. The embassy is not helping. It sounds here that actually the embassy abandoned these people, does not play any role in the way these people live in this Saudi Arabia.
That is not true. I would really want to take this opportunity to appreciate the brothers and the sisters at the embassy who are really doing a great job. Our time, working time, is supposed to be from 9 to 3. But those gentlemen and ladies, they even respond to calls.
9 to what?
9 to 3 in the evening. The working hours of missions in Saudi Arabia.
9 to 3?
Yes.
Not 8 to 5 like it is here?
No, it's different.
9 to 3 means how many hours? 9 to 3 is 6 hours?
Yeah, because you also have breaks, because after 3 then you have prayers of what is called al-asr, so you cannot do any business.
Are they in the national calendar that they must take place?
Sorry?
Are they a must that they must take place? The prayers are also on the national calendar?
It's a must in Saudi Arabia. When it is time for prayers, you have to close and go for prayers. But Ugandan mission, you are still in Uganda. We don't close during prayer hours, but for the Muslims, they do go for prayers. But all government organs in Saudi Arabia, they do work from that time to that time. But what I was saying, that those officers stay longer. They use their own phones in the evenings. Still, they respond to calls. Even before starting a shelter, they used to keep these migrant workers at the embassy, at the residences, and all that. So that is not true. But we also have to admit that we need more officers. We need to be supported. We need to be facilitated more. As numbers increase, we need more officers, and we need also more facilities.
Yes, thank you very much. Having lived in Saudi Arabia for 20 or more years, is it in their nature to be rude, be torturous, to be inhuman? Because the videos we get show some men flogging old men, our boys and daughters, that somebody, the last one I watched, somebody tied somebody's hands on a chair, somebody seated on the chair with his hands tied the other side round. So one has no help and is flogging him, left, right, and center. And you wonder what kind of human being.
Was that in Saudi Arabia?
I can't tell certainly.
See, now that's the problem, my brother. Okay, that is the problem. We really have to investigate and really give authentic information. You see, if it is, Saudi government will not allow that to happen. And if it happened, really, they will be charged. Okay, you see, in Saudi Arabia, you've had even of a prince. Okay, you kill someone also after the judgment. In the public, they also take him and also execute him. So really, I don't understand. People say, but this is a Ugandan. Why is he supporting the Arabs? But we have to be fair, okay? Saudi government is really doing a great job for the welfare.
Is there sexual abuse in Saudi Arabia?
Sexual abuse, yes, we do.
Have you recorded the cases of girls being sexually abused?
We have, so far, we have recorded, I think, yes, 2 cases with evidence. 2 cases with evidence.
Only 2 cases?
Yes, only 2 cases.
We have a million of these clips around
2 cases with evidence, and those people have either been charged or there was a mutual agreement between the 2.
As the Ugandan government catered for orientation of these girls and boys, the other side, that when they arrive in Saudi Arabia, before they are deployed to their work stations, work centers,
yes,
they go through some kind of orientation, perhaps to take them through the culture,
yes,
of the people they are going to live with.
Yes.
Tell them a little of what they should expect,
yeah,
the nature of the people they are going to work with, maybe the mission, why have you come here, the goal, so that one is prepared before they start the job.
Actually, the modules are available. The modules are available. As I told you, the problem of early termination, the cause of that mainly is you find that the objective of the migrant worker with the time of the contract, they don't match. And that causes this girl to decide to come back at an early stage. So now the girls are being trained that if you are going to Saudi Arabia to work as a domestic worker, your objective should be an income of 20 million in the 2 years. So you cannot make 2 million in 3 months, okay? And you should not settle in for little. Don't go if you are looking for 6 million. Don't go if you are looking for 1 million. Don't go if you only want school fees for your kids. Because how much is school fees going to cost? You see, on average monthly, is it 150 or 200,000? Okay, what about the rest of the money? What are you going to do with that money? So they do take them through goal setting, financial literacy. Then they also do take them through the contract awareness, their rights, the rights of the other people, the period of the contract, but they also do take them through the challenges at workplace, that you may not be paid, you may end up being harassed sexually, maybe physical abuse, not given food, no place to sleep. What do you do and how do you handle that? So they take them through that to prepare them. But also they do take them through telephone and social media use, because it's a big challenge.
How big is
today,
that? Is that a problem?
It is
that
a
somebody should teach me on how to use my phone?
A very big challenge, because some of these girls go, when she had Katoch, she has never touched a big phone like yours.
Like mine.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm.
She goes there and then gets this unlimited internet, okay? And then she starts chatting with different parties. So that's where she gets in touch with some bad people. They start exchanging bad information with her. This is happening. Actually, 2 days ago, I visited one training center, and one of the girls who was training there, when she heard that I'm from Saudi, she came to me and told me, but sir, I'm still, and this is a graduate, sir, I'm really scared. You see, I hear that they take people's kidneys, they kill people, you see, but I need this money. I have my kids. I've been trying some businesses here. I have failed. I want to go there and get capital, but I'm really scared. Then I asked her, who told you that they take people's kidneys or they kill people? No, I hear from social media. Then I asked, do you have any friend, any relative, or any Ugandan you know who has been really, whose kidney has been taken out? And the issue of death, really, we are clearing somebody's, people are dying and being brought back. But for us in Saudi Arabia, for the last 2 years I've been at the mission right now, we don't have a death case where it is proved that this girl has died because of torture. Because we do take, before we clear a body, we must get a post-mortem report, and we get also a police report. And these investigations are done by different security officers. Like you remember, we had a girl who died in Jeddah at a sink. There was that body which was showed. And I had to fly in myself to investigate the case. And we discovered that this girl had some psychiatric tendencies. Okay, and I investigated with the girls who were there, and they told me that even at that time she was saying that I'm going to die, or my family is calling me, or God is calling me, those kind of
how did that in the first place pass through the vetting process of Uganda?
You see, it is very difficult to identify someone with a psychiatric tendency.
Don't they do medical tests?
I think that's not tested. I don't know if professionals really can be able to guide these recruitment agencies. I think it is really crucial, because we have very many cases of psychiatric tendencies at the embassy. You see, you may see me this way, but sometimes we have to wrestle these girls to take when they come at the embassy and they have these problems. And you don't expect the Arabs to help them, take them, or fight them and take them to the hospital. Abaganda bagamba nanyini mufu, Yakwata awawunya.
Yasin, we should be moving towards the end of this, but I want you to look at this situation.
Yes.
That I, Muyanga Rutai, assuming I'm a Saudi, I'm living in Saudi Arabia, I'm living a single life. I'm a man.
Yes.
And I order you to outsource for me a beautiful Ugandan lady to come and be my domestic worker. Yes. How do the two of us live? I am single, then you have brought a beautiful, you know, Ugandans are naturally endowed, very beautiful, with all that you know. How do the two of us live in the same house, and you expect nothing to happen?
Okay. Saudi government will not allow you to recruit a domestic worker if you are not married, if you don't have family.
Say that again.
Yes. Saudi government will not allow you to bring a domestic worker if you don't have a family. Okay.
Do I recruit a worker through government?
Yes.
CIP, go to
they have to clear you. They have to clear you.
In Saudi Arabia?
See, yeah. Those are some of the measures which Saudi government has put there to protect the rights of the foreign workers, yes, or the migrant workers.
I live in Kampala.
Yes.
I need a domestic work.
Yes.
I call my auntie,
yes,
in Uganda.
Yes.
I say, please get me a young girl to, yes, come and help keep my children.
But you will not need a visa. You will not need a visa because you are in Uganda. But if you bring a foreigner, then Ugandan government has to clear you to get a visa. So even in Saudi Arabia, they will not allow you to get a visa of a domestic worker if you don't have a family. You will have to prove that you have enough income. You have a family, you have income, and your income can allow you to pay salary to the migrant worker. You don't have a bad history of violence. If your house is too big, they will not allow you to bring one migrant worker. Okay. Or if your family also, family. Yes, if you have a large family, they will not allow you to bring only one migrant. So the system is there. They are doing their level best. The Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development here is doing a great job also. But I think they are falling short. Our government is falling short in sensitizing the public on what has been put in place. What are they doing? What is the future? What is good into this and what is bad into this?
And okay, that brings me to our very last question. just last week in Kampala, you attended the function where the Saudi Minister for Human Resources and Militarization, His Excellency Nasser
the Emirates Minister, yes.
Emirates,
yes,
signed a bilateral agreement with our Minister for Gender, Hajat Janet Balunzi Mukwaya, to open the same labor export market in the UAE. Given the challenges that you've talked about, is Uganda ready to tap into even a larger market now, adding UAE, Saudi Arabia, Oman, and the others? What needs to be done? Who should do it? When and how? In just 2 minutes, and we sum up this.
All right. First of all, signing a bilateral, that's one issue, but coming up with the implementation plan, that is another issue. I'm aware that the ministry is very, very busy right now working on the implementation plan. But also, as the minister told you on air last time, that Uganda wanted to enter into Emirates. After entering, then, because you cannot decide things when you are far away. You can see the good picture in Emirates, so in Saudi when you are outside, but when you enter, then you discover some challenges. Now, according to what we know, they have certain good arrangements for labor, and that's why our government has decided to sign. But again, the issues of the visas, we have the VIST visas, then we have the electronic visas, and then we have medical. And so for those ones, the technocrats in the ministry and also the legal foreign affairs, I think they are now very busy cooking and seeing how to do it right with the experience of Saudi Arabia and Jordan.
Hello, my guest is Yasin Abdulaziz Musoke. Yasin, you're a Muslim.
Yes.
And one of the things you expect is Jannah. Are you sure that having been active in this labor export, where our daughters and brothers are tortured in Saudi Arabia,
yes,
where the allegations that people lose their parts, some of their body parts, in this kind of market, are you really sure that you'll find your Lord in Jannah? Are you sure? Are you confident about it as a Muslim? Are you doing the right thing? I want to hear you say so.
To answer your question, God knows how he judges people, but from the bottom of my heart, I know that I'm doing the right thing.
For God.
And my country.
Thank you.
Thank you very
much for your time and for coming. This is The Sidelines. My guest was Mr. Yasin Abdulaziz Musoke, the Ugandan Liaison Officer at the Uganda Embassy in Saudi Arabia. He's been giving us stories about the labor export market that he believes is very good for Uganda. He says government and all stakeholders must only fight to eliminate the bottlenecks within the industry, but allow the industry to flourish for the benefit of the young people who have an opportunity to make capital from Saudi Arabia and the far Middle East, where opportunities still live. Thank you for watching. My name is Simon Moyanga Rutai.